Hi, my name is Chef Shimson and welcome again to yet another exciting episode of our online pastry class. Okay, so today I'm going to introduce yet another exciting recipe. Okay, the recipe that we have today is the recipe for making buns. So with the buns recipe, it's the same recipe that we use for the bread dough, but we'll stick to the buns because that's what we have in our combo. Okay, so for starters we'll need 500 grams of flour, which is equivalent to 2 cups. And we're going to need 1 cup of water, which is room temperature water, which is equivalent to 250 ml. We're going to need 2 teaspoons of cooking oil, that's teaspoons of cooking oil, and 1 tablespoon of yeast leavened, that's instant yeast. We're going to need 1 tablespoon of sugar leavened, that's 1 tablespoon, 1 tablespoon salt, and that is 1 teaspoon. Half a tablespoon of salt, that's equivalent to 1 teaspoon of salt leavened. So we'll go to our work surface and see what ingredients we have and what we have in place for this particular recipe where we're making buns. I have here on my work surface area all-purpose flour, some room temperature water, cooking oil, my utility spoons, my measuring cup. As usual, we use a measuring cup which is measuring at 250 grams, and that's the cup we're using. We have here the salt, our instant yeast, and of course, yes, last but not the least, our sugar. Okay, so to begin with, I have a sieve as well, which is going to help sieve the flour. I begin by mixing my dry ingredients. Okay, so if you've been following throughout the other classes, you would notice that I always emphasize that your cup of flour is supposed to be what? Supposed to be leveled. So leveling flour, you just use either a spoon or a knife, and that's how you level your flour. Okay, so we're required to use 2 cups. So that's my first cup. Of course, I measure in another cup. It's my second cup of flour, as well, also leveled. Okay, away with the rest of the flour, my measuring cup. I sieve my flour into my separate measuring dish. It's always important to sieve your flour for nice air spaces. Also, if there are any residues from the factory or your storage, this is the best time you can get rid of such. So you make sure your flour is well sieved. Okay, that is well sieved. Make sure the rest is in the dish as well. Okay, so we'll go to our next ingredient, which is all the dry ingredients. So next on the list of dry ingredients, I have yeast. So for yeast, we need 2 tablespoons of yeast. So that's our measuring tablespoon. Leveled, we put 2 tablespoons of yeast. We're going to make sure that is fully mixed. And we're required to add sugar to this mixture as well. So for sugar as well, we need 1 tablespoon. So just 1 tablespoon of sugar is enough. So if you're going to use this recipe and you want to make more, you have to double the recipe. What we have next on the list is the salt, which is half a tablespoon, which is also equivalent to 1 tablespoon. I beg your pardon there. So half a tablespoon is equivalent to 1 teaspoon. So we're using 1 teaspoon, which is the same as half a tablespoon. So you notice that all the ingredients that I need for this particular recipe are here. So all dry ingredients are mixed. I mix them properly using a spoon, okay, until they are fully incorporated. Right, so now we come to the wet ingredients. On the wet ingredients list, we have cooking oil and water. So first and foremost, we start with the cooking oil, because on the measure of cooking oil, there's no compromise, but with the water, you want to check on the consistency of the dough before you can add more. So that's 1 and 2 tablespoons of cooking oil. Okay, so as soon as that is mixed, we add the water. So for water, we require 1 cup of water, so I'll fill up a cup of water, but I'll add in the water gradually as I'm also mixing the dough. So I add half of the water and I start to mix the dough nicely with my hands. So I make sure the half bit of water is fully mixed with the oil before I can add in the rest. So as soon as that is fully mixed, as you can see, I add in the rest of the water. Okay, that's all the water in there. And I continue mixing the dough. Okay, so the dough is coming together. You might want to dust your hands a bit with the flour so that you don't have the gluten from the flour sticking up so much on your hands. So when you dust, you just shake it up and all the flour will easily come out of your hands. So as soon as the flour is out of your hands, it makes it easy for you to continue the mixing process. So in as much as you want to have a smooth dough, you might want to have your hands also well dusted so that the flour does not stick and the dough does not stick much on your hands. So you want to use your palm at this point to knead the dough nicely, and you might want to go in circles. At this point, since we're not adding in liquid ingredients or wet ingredients per se, you may even discard of the mixing dish and just have your dough on the surface, which is the marble surface. So here I'm mixing it to make it completely mixed and fully incorporated. At the point when everything is smooth, that's the time we'll let it rest. So we continue to knead the dough until you achieve quite a smooth and non-sticky dough. So you can notice that it's not sticking on my hands and it's smooth. So when that happens, you know that your dough is ready. So I'll rest it for 10 minutes and I'll continue to roll it after 10 minutes of its time. Okay, now our dough has been resting for the past 10 minutes and it's relaxed and well incorporated. So I'm going to roll it now into buns. Okay, so I make sure my surface does not have excess flour, my hands too, and I also make sure that my pan where I'm going to press the buns is nicely greased with oil. So I grease my pan nicely all the way. We grease the pan all the way. Right. And here we go. At this point, I begin to make the buns. So there are two methods of rolling out the buns. You can either use your palm and fold it into round balls like that. They have to be smooth as well. Okay, so you make sure they're seated like that, or you may use the actual surface, but you make sure they are equal quantities of the dough that you're cutting out. Okay, so those are the two methods of rolling your buns, but you might as well want to cut the entire dough into equal parts so that it makes it easy for you to know how many pieces you're going to have from there. So I continue cutting and rolling, so they are cut into even pieces, so we roll them out together. I prefer rolling from the surface, so you make sure that they are attached as you are putting them in the pan. So you make sure they are close to each other, you don't leave space in between the buns. You make sure that they are close to each other. Okay, so with that in mind, I know that there's one more that will fit into there. So this is a single recipe of 2 cups, and this single recipe makes about 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, close to 10 pieces of buns. So that's 2 cups of flour. The other piece comes there. So even using a smaller tray, you still get to achieve the same results. So you can make them smaller or even rather bigger than this. It's all up to you, because these have yeast as a raising ingredient and they are going to rise from this size. So as soon as these spaces are closed up, we'll know that the buns are ready and for baking. But for now, we're going to put them either in a proofer or under the sun, where they're going to be exposed to heat and they're going to rise in size. When they are fully risen, we're going to bake them at a temperature of 200 degrees for 15 to 20 minutes. So for now, I'll just close them up. Either with a tea towel or a clean wrap, you may cover this and rest it for the rising time. Okay, so our tray is covered. We're going to rest our buns and bake them after they are fully risen. Let's see, after the resting time of about 20 minutes or less, our buns are fully risen into the size that we want. So for the final part, okay, though this is optional, you can now use an egg separator to separate your egg. Okay, using an egg separator, we separate the egg, because all we need for this point in time is only the egg yolk. So we get the egg yolk separated from the white. There you have it, just the yolk. Then at this point, we break it with a brush, add a bit of milk, so upon adding a bit of milk, we mix it. Then we egg wash our buns on top for that nice finishing, that nice golden brown finishing for our buns. So into a preheated oven of about 200 degrees, we are going to bake these buns for the next 15 to 20 minutes per se. So this is optional. You can choose to put or not to put the egg wash on your buns, depending on your allergies or your desire, but I prefer having them egg washed. I think they give a better color. Okay, as soon as that is done, so this is ready. It's going in the oven now for the next 15 to 20 minutes per se. And our bell is off, meaning our baking time is over. And there you have it, our buns are ready.